So ChatGPT is all the rage right now, and everybody is talking about how you can do this to grow your business and make a bigger impact. But we need to talk about how you can incorporate or use ChatGPT to figure out your own messaging and which works best. Does ChatGPT work best than hiring a brand strategist, a branding expert, or a messaging expert, however you want to call it? Or can we 100% rely on ChatGPT to create our content, to create our messaging, and all of these different things? So I'm actually going to show you how you can define your positioning statement, how you can define that tagline that determines who you are and what you do, and how to optimize your content to be able to attract better quality leads in less time. So one of the mistakes that I see people making often is that they're creating a lot of generic content. They're saying, well, I do this thing, I do that thing, I'm a coach, I'm an expert on this. But what I see happening too often is that the way that you're describing what you do tends to be too simple, too basic and generic, and it ends up sounding like everybody else. And listen, my friends, we are living in a world where there's a lot of competition, there's a lot of voices, there's a lot of noise out there in the market, there's a lot of people selling to your audience an optimal solution to what you are doing or how you can solve that problem. And it's not enough to be kind of generic. You really need to figure out, how do I stand out? And when we think about our positioning statement and how we position ourselves, it really is going to make a massive difference, because it's going to be the core center strategy behind everything that you do. So if you're doing a webinar to generate leads, or you're doing posting on content on social media, or you're doing a video series, or you're doing a challenge, or you're doing whatever thing that you're doing right now, if you're not really, or if you don't have a lot of clarity around who exactly you're talking to, who your exact ideal client is, or how to speak to them, or how to explain what it is that you do, well, none of these strategies are going to get you the results that you're expecting, especially if you're investing money in them and investing time and you're investing energy in them, right? So it's really important to be able to figure out how to say what it is that you do in a way that feels like, oh, okay, this is what you like. It makes you stand out from the rest, right? So in terms of messaging, there's really 3 core elements that are the core and that you need to take into account to be able to succeed in your market. The first thing is why you? Why are you uniquely the person that can solve this person's or your audience's problem, right? What is your unique point of view? How are you infusing your own personality, your experience, your knowledge, all of these different things into the work that you're doing? The second thing is your audience. Who is your audience? And more importantly, who is the ready to invest version of your audience? We'll talk about that in a second. And the third thing is your positioning, as in, what is it that you actually do? I mean, what is it? What is it? What is it that you do? What is the result? What is the outcome? What is the benefit? Why does somebody want to go ahead and pay you 4, 5, 6 figures to work with you, right? So a lot of people, as I was saying before, are really coming up with a little bit of generic messaging to explain what they do. And it's not enough, because audiences are getting more and more sophisticated over time. So we can't just be kind of basic in explaining what we do. We have to go deeper, especially if your intention is to speak to a premium audience, and especially if you want to talk to the people that are ready to invest. Because what I want you to understand is that having money does not necessarily make somebody ready to invest in what you're doing. So we need to figure out who that person is. How do we communicate to them in an effective way so that we're able to attract better clients, right? So for that to happen, I really focus on bringing in a great mix between speaking to your audience's desires, but also bringing in the problem. So what most people do in terms of marketing is they say, or their messaging is that they're all about the pain, the problem, the symptom, and you're agitating that and making people feel bad. And it's like, if you don't fix this, the world and your life is going to fall apart, and this is going to happen, and that is going to happen. And that's really not as effective in terms of attracting premium clients. Now, on the other extreme of that, you can't just be like, I'm going to help you live a beautiful life, because that tends to be too generic, too out there, too wishy-washy, and not really clear enough. So there has to be a good mix of you communicating to your audience's desires and their vision, and still being able to bring in their problems. So we're going to be using ChatGPT to look at the different elements around how to clarify your message and how to use these things to bring in your ideal clients. So let me go ahead and share screen And we're going to go through this process together so that we can kind of see how do we do this? How do we do this more effectively? Now, the example that I'm going to be using today is going to be for a high performance coach that helps successful high achievers that are experiencing burnout. So we're going to kind of focus on this example specifically. Let me hide this over here. And I'm going to ask ChatGPT, can you give me 10 problems a high performance coach would solve for a successful high achiever that is experiencing burnout, right? So this is going to immediately give me some ideas of what are some of the common problems that my audience is experiencing as it relates to burnout, which obviously is going to be our main core theme, right? So as this comes up with that, we can kind of go ahead and go a little bit deeper and ask ChatGPT, okay, it's giving me identify the root cause of burnout, develop a self-care routine, improve time management skills, establish boundaries, manage expectations, all these different things. So let's go deeper and ask ChatGPT if it can tell us the root cause of what some of these problems may be. So now it's telling me, it's identify the root cause of burnout. The root cause of burnout can vary widely from person to person, but some common causes include work-related stress, the lack of self-care routine can be caused by a busy schedule, a belief that self-care is selfish, unrealistic expectations, procrastination. It's talking about lack of knowledge or skills, a fear of trying new things. So we're kind of, looking at some of these things. And I kind of really liked the idea of, improving. Let's see which way we can focus on, because I think that we can kind of test a few of these and see. I like the idea of poor communication skills that can be caused by a fear of conflict, a lack of assertiveness, and a lack of empathy or difficulty in expressing yourself. So I'm going to ask ChatGPT if it can take that right now and turn it into taglines for an expert that solves these types of problems, right? So now it's saying, unlock the power of communication to achieve success, communication mastery for high achievers, speak with confidence, lead with influence, master the art of communication and conquer burnout, communicate your way to a balanced life. The key to success is effective. So it's giving me some ideas here. But again, as you can kind of see, it still feels a little bit generic and simple, right? So we want to bring in a little bit more of problems and use problems in the communication, and so that we can see how we can include that. So can you write these, including more of the problem that this audience is experiencing? So let's see what it comes up with for us around this topic, right? So, because it feels like it's a little bit too communicate your way to a balanced life. Like, what does that mean? I don't understand what that means. So let's see if we can come up with something more powerful, right? Break free from burnout with communication mastery. Communication solutions for high achievers feeling overwhelmed. Effective communication for high performance experiencing burnout. Empowering high achievers to communicate their way to balance. Avoid burnout by mastering communication skills. So it feels like it's not as clear yet, right? And, I feel like we can take some of these, right, and say break free from burnout with communication mastery. And I still feel like it's not strong enough for me to really understand what it is that this person does. So if you're an expert, you're a high performance coach helping high achievers overcome burnout, this still feels like it's too simple, right? So how I usually like doing this work, let's kind of talk about this a little bit, because I want to show you how I, as a brand strategist and a messaging coach and expert, which is my area of expertise, let me change this screen over here and move over here instead. How I do this instead. How do I focus on it when I'm writing and creating a message for my own clients? Because I think that this is going to be more powerful for you to see how you can do this and how you can incorporate ChatGPT into that process. So the first thing that we want to do is determine what is that external problem that our audience is experiencing. So in my case, or in this example, we're going to talk about burnout, right? So that is the main thing, burnout and chronic stress. And what that leads to in terms of the internal problem is that a lot of these people are feeling like there's a lot of self-sabotage. There's a lot of, inner critic speaking high, and it's keeping them from taking action. So these are some of the things that this audience might be experiencing right now, instead of, so as we go deeper of what's really going on, like what is underneath that burnout and chronic stress, right? So the next question that we want to ask ourselves is, what is the cause of the problem? Why is this person experiencing chronic stress and burnout? And this is where things get very, very interesting. And this is where things get really strong, and where you need to be able to go deeper, because I can ask ChatGPT, and I'll ask it right now. I'm a high performance coach for successful. I'm going to go ask it right now as you and I are talking, and it's going to give me some answers. But this is where the power of really understanding some of these things and really being able to discern your zone of genius and bring that into what you're doing is going to make a big difference. So I'm going to come back to ChatGPT and show you. I'm a high performance coach for successful high achievers who are dealing with burnout and chronic stress, self-sabotage, inner critic. What is the cause of this problem? Let's see what ChatGPT gives us, right? Can be complex and multifaceted. Burnout can be caused by prolonged intense stress. Chronic stress can be used by a variety of factors, including work-related, financial, negative self-talk, but it's kind of not going as deep as I really want it to go, right? So we really, to be able to create that message that speaks to our audience in a way that's more impactful, we need to be able to go deeper into, okay, what is it that I actually do? What is the actual cause of this problem, right? Hopefully this is making sense. So in truth, what I analyze with this, and this is actually a real example from one of my real clients, is that what was actually going on with this audience is that there was a lot of disconnect from their power, right? So they were doing things that they thought were the things that they needed to do, and like, I want to achieve more. I want to get promoted. I want to get more clients. I want to do this. I want to do that. And that was actually leading to burnout. But it's not really that they were dealing with burnout. It's that they were disconnected from their power, from their heart, from the thing that they really desired to do. So they were holding back a part of themselves, right? So as we got deeper into uncovering, okay, what is the cause of the problem? And some of the questions like, what have they done to fix the problem in the past? And that's actually making it worse. Those are all things that came through for us to really be able to analyze and understand what it is that you do. So at the end, this is the core message, and I'm really simplifying it for you here, because obviously this would require me to spend hours on this video on this training, really explaining this to you. But at the core, what we came up with is, I'm helping you elevate your leadership and maximize your impact by commanding the champion within, so that you can quickly conquer any challenge that shakes your confidence while releasing burnout. So the big theme in this case is commanding the champion, right? This is what we came up as that main concept, or that main tagline for this client, that really made a lot of sense. And then we're bringing in how we're elevating leadership, we're maximizing impact, we're helping them command that champion within, so they can conquer any challenge that shakes their confidence, and releasing burnout. So this is the perfect mix of us bringing together that positive language, and still bringing in the problem of releasing burnout, and still bringing in the problem of conquering challenges that may show up. So you can see that this is a type of message that is going to speak much more effectively to a premium client versus somebody that is too focused on the problem. If I went on and on about, like, you're experiencing burnout, and burnout is keeping you from taking action, and it's making you feel terrible, and it's not working, and nothing is working, and you can't sleep at night, and all these different things, it's only going to agitate the problem and attract the wrong type of person, right? And if you're being too generic, like some of the examples that ChatGPT came up with, like break free and avoid burnout, and you're kind of being like too generic, even saying like, I help high achievers overcome burnout, it's anybody can do that. Anybody can say that. So you have to go deeper. Now, for all of this to work really the most effective way, you need to understand how to speak to those ready to invest clients. How do I attract the ready to invest clients? How do I attract the premium person that will actively move forward and say, let's go. I'm in. Let's take action in solving this right now. I'm ready to invest right now. So for that, I actually have a training where I go much deeper into how do you define the ready to invest clients, and you'll find it at readytoinvestclients.com, or you can find it in the links below, and really go deeper into defining who your ready to invest person actually is. How do I speak to that person? How do I go above from being kind of generic in my message, even if we're using ChatGPT, which can be a great tool to give you some clarity, but you have to be able to go deeper and understand the psychology behind speaking to a premium client. That is going to be the thing that will really make the biggest impact for you. So make sure that you go to readytoinvestclients.com to be able to access that training where we go deeper into this topic. And let me know below if you have any specific questions about how you can use ChatGPT to create a premium message to attract more premium clients and really grow your business. I'll do more videos on this topic. I promise I'll show you how to create content, how to go deeper. So make sure that you're following me everywhere as at Fabi Paolini so that you can hear some of these trainings and these things, and we can go deeper to help you attract more premium coaching clients into your business.